The Sandy and Toddcast is a Mind Garden media podcast in association with
Screw You, Todd
Productions. Sometimes the best plans never happen. It's just the way it is, and it's the theme of our podcast in general.
Yeah, basically, unless we're having a guest on, we really have no real idea of what we're going to talk about. And I was just saying to you that we tend to go off on tangents, so you never know where we're going to end up.
Well, plus stuff we have planned to do in the past year and a couple of months, some of it has just never come to fruition. As much as we talk about it, there's just no time to do it. And again, this week, we had plans for a guest this week, and it fell through. Not because of the guest, but because of life. And so this podcast we're calling, what is it? What are you calling it? I thought we'd call it Where's Holly?
She would love that. She'd get a kick out of that.
Season 6, Episode 8, Where's Holly? Is next on the Sandy and Toddcast.
Tarot time. If you're listening to this podcast, the divine messages are definitely for you. Let's combine science and magic, shall we? Root cause analysis, business planning, counseling, and good old-fashioned intuitive tarot readings so we can improve your near future circumstances by addressing your present scenarios. Please follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. For more in-depth tarot consultations, please book your readings at positivetarotwisdom.com. Infinite love and blessings for everyone.
Broadcasting from two very different yet magical places not found on any map. Get ready to discuss the strange, weird, ghostly, crazy, spooky, and odd things that take place around us each and every day. All while having a little bit of fun. This is the Sandy and Toddcast.
And yes, it is the Sandy and Toddcast. And yes, she is Sandy.
And he is Todd.
And this one is called Where's Holly? So
let's give a backstory on this. We were going to bring Holly Hughes back. Holly is just this amazing author, motivational speaker, empath, psychic medium, just this amazing woman that we have had on the show before. And we love her dearly. There's just something about Holly that the three of us just are so great together. And we were going to have her, and then plans went awry. Not Holly's fault at all, but you were just kind of, everybody knows about your knee.
Yeah, but it was even more than that. I've got to say this, because this was one of those weeks where it was work from hell week.
Yeah. Yeah,
it was work from hell week, and it was one of those weeks since I've gone back to the radio thing. This is one of the worst weeks that I've had.
Yeah,
and it was really literally bad. Days of starting at about 4:00 in the morning and wrapping up between 6. One night I was working till 10 o'clock at night.
I know.
So when you have some of those nights, and this is what you do for a living, is talk and this and that. The last thing you want to do is talk and this and that. But yeah, because I wasn't moving around much and I was in the studio all day, I'm not getting my exercises in at all.
No,
Canceled the therapy session. And
I know. And it's so hard because we still stay in contact throughout the day. We're always in contact.
Kind of. There's been days this week we've maybe said 5 words back and forth just because.
That's true. But I mean, like, if I need you for something or you need me for something, we answer.
Well, of course.
That's the way it is.
If you got a hold of me and said, hey, listen, my mom is running naked through the streets and we don't know why, then I would be all about that. You
would be all about it. And it's a great distraction.
And ironically, that is something she has said to me before.
I know.
Let's not talk about that.
Let's not talk about that.
Not really, but I mean, some of the things that you've said, it's always like, Todd, OMG. And then I'm waiting for like the story and it's always, my mom, blank, 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 you know?
There's always something going on. I have to read before we talk. Well, first, let's talk a little bit about that. So I've totally felt what you've been going through all week long. It's been really tough. And so I've been trying to give you some space and let you just get your shit done. But I know it's been a really rough week. And then add to it an injury like your knee, and it just makes it so much worse. And you sent me a picture the other day of what your entire leg looked like afterwards. And my heart sunk because I felt so bad.
It was really swollen, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really bad. It was really, really bad. So I was worried. I've been worried all week, but you are still here and alive. So that makes me very, very happy. And hopefully this week will be a little bit better for both of us. It's been a really rough week this week for many reasons. We'll talk about one of them in just a few minutes, but I'm just glad that you're doing okay now because it's tough. So I saw this meme on Facebook the other day about text your mother and tell her, quote, a police detective is going to call you. Tell them I was with you all day today and see what they reply. So I said, all right, I'm going to do it. I've done these things to her before. Okay. So I said that. I texted her, Mom, a police detective's going to call. Tell them I was with you all day today. And she goes, what? With about 12 question marks after it. And I go, what I said. And she goes, okay. And then I waited a few minutes and I said, LOL, I'm just kidding. Her response, you ass, I'm here thinking about a good story to tell him. She was going to go right along with it, too, without even, I'm trying to think of a good story. I said, Mom, come on. Like, do you really think that would happen? So that's life with my mother.
I don't know. You are a member of a mob family. Maybe there is something to that. Maybe she's really used to telling people, oh, yeah, I was with so-and-so all day yesterday. Maybe she's used to that in life.
She dug back into her roots.
Yeah, right. Right.
So it's been an interesting week for both of us, and I'm glad it's over with. And so hopefully next week will be a little bit easier. But yeah. So that's why Holly isn't with us, but Holly will be with us in the coming weeks. We just have to figure out logistically when we can schedule that for all of us together. And then, of course, Aaron Mazza, who is a friend of ours, will be joining us in the near future as well. They have a new podcast. Well, it's not too new. I'm in the process of editing and producing the last 3 episodes of their season 1 now, 10, 11, and 12. So it's been around for a little bit, The Witching Hour with Aaron Mazza, and it's an amazing podcast. I'm just finishing up an interview with a voodoo priest. So just such cool things on this podcast. So we're going to bring Aaron on with us and talk to them a little bit about their podcast and what's going on in their life right now.
When Sandy says something is really, really good, usually it's really, really good. Sometimes she says it's really, really good because that's what you do on radio. You say, oh, it's the best song I've ever heard, right?
Yep.
Oh, my God, that movie was so great. What was it like playing the part of so-and-so? And in the back of your mind going, I only saw clips of it. I wasn't all that interested, but I can't really say that.
Right there with you.
Right.
Yep.
So there's that. But I know that you really, really like his stuff because when it comes to podcasts, and it comes to what you do with podcasts as far as producing them and whatever, you're kind of a stickler. And you know a good podcast. You don't know a good podcast, but you know a good podcast. And for you and truly, honestly, I think you're truly giving them a lot of praise. Yes,
because honestly, for anybody who doesn't know, I edit and produce podcasts. That's my job. And I have had hundreds and hundreds of episodes of podcasts come through my studio over the past year and a half. And I have to say that as far as the scale, the range of guests and the types of guests and the quality of guests within a genre of podcast, Aaron's Witching Hour is probably one of the best, one of the most diverse. It focuses a lot on the spiritual world, but kind of diverges into different types of practices, witchcraft, voodoo, lots of authors who really know what they're talking about, have life experiences. And I just love editing their podcasts, producing them because they're just very, very interesting. So Aaron will be joining us in the coming weeks as well.
If they behave themselves.
If they behave themselves. But like I told you before we came on today, they're being really, really good and behaving themselves. So I will, I have to say
But
they're
you
being
know
very
them
good.
like I know them. All it takes is just one little twist or turn.
One little thing. One thing that's very cute is that Aaron, I don't know why this happens, but Aaron refers to me as Aunt Sandy. And I don't know where it came from. I don't know why it happens, but he does. They do. So I'm editing one of the podcasts the other day, and I'm listening to all the talk up until the point where it actually begins, that the stuff that people never hear because it gets edited out. And he starts talking about, Todd, do you remember last season when Aaron was supposed to be on one of our episodes and they totally screwed up the time zones?
And they were in the shower while we were trying to call them, right?
and we were trying to make up things to talk about on a live cast because we had no Aaron. Totally didn't think about it. Totally forgot about it. Well, they did the same thing with this guest. And so there was a mention of Aunt Sandy hearing all about this and giving them hell because of time zones. And I just started laughing so hard. It was so funny. So just a little throwback to Aaron that I did hear that, and it was pretty darn funny. So anyways, but yeah, so Aaron will be joining us. Holly will be back with us soon. We just have to figure out some scheduling, and they will be with us.
All right. And
so,
that's right. I was going to call this podcast actually the shortest podcast ever for us. And then I forgot what I was going to call it. So then I called it Where's Holly? So we're going to call this Where's Holly, the shortest podcast ever.
Yeah, what did I say? I said they're never short because we always get off on these weird tangents and start talking about things that really probably have nothing to do with what it started out to be. But, that's how life goes. So anyways, let's talk just really briefly before we get into the heart of the episode today. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on in the world right now. If you're an empath, if you have any sort of abilities, psychic, medium, empathic abilities, I would assume that you're probably feeling what's going on in the world quite a bit. I will say this. The past 10 days or so have been incredibly difficult for me. I have felt what's going on in the world incredibly deeply. And as a very strong empath, and also somebody who's developed my abilities in the past couple of years, it's very, very difficult. They say compartmentalize. They say, understand that it's not your own feelings. It's the taking on the weight of the world. I get it. But it's not as easy as you think it is. It's very difficult. And and one of the reasons I've had a really hard, difficult week is because of this, because of everything that's going on. I'm literally feeling everything. Every news story, every Facebook post, everything, unless and it's hard. You can't isolate yourself 100% from everything going on in the world. You just can't. And it doesn't matter. I immediately become those people. And it's been incredibly difficult. And I just want people who are going through this to understand that you are not alone, that it will get better, but it's very, very difficult. And I have been dealing with a lot of it this week, and I have been trying to isolate myself as much as I can, but I can't. And so I just want everybody to know that I'm going through it too, and it's really, really difficult. I haven't felt this way since the pandemic started, when we were all panicking and terrified of what was going on, and we had no idea what was next. And so just, you're not alone. There is somebody here with you who understands what you're going through. So I just wanted to say that because I know there's other people going through this as well. It's a really rough time, really rough time, even for the people who aren't on the front lines and who aren't experiencing it themselves day to day. We're experiencing it with them. So, all right. So that's just my little, I understand sort of tangent for today.
In my situation, for me, I'm kind of glad my work has kind of been as crazy as it is.
Yeah.
Because I can focus on that.
Yeah.
And for me, I just don't. I can't. And here's the thing. It doesn't mean that I don't care deeply about what's going on.
Right.
I can't watch it. I don't want to see news stories. I don't want to see, because there's other levels of what's going on here too.
Right.
We hear about, Russia invading Ukraine, but then we hear additional stories about how the government or the people basically pushed people of color away from getting out of the city. I mean, there's all levels.
Yes.
Of
everything.
Horse shit going on over there.
Yep.
And
everything.
and here's the thing that I have to remind myself of. That it upsets me, obviously, because now I'm starting to get kind of worked up over it. But I'm just as worked up over that as the story down the street of the family that is shunned because of the color of their skin.
Right.
Or,
I agree.
So I literally have to shut it off and not deal with it. Doesn't mean I don't know what's going on. Doesn't mean that in small ways I try to make a difference for other people.
Right.
But I just can't. I won't, because it will be all consuming to me. And then just so you know, and just to prove how much better I am than you.
I hate you.
You know what I got in the mail this week?
What?
Jury duty, April 4th. And guess what? I don't care. I'm not going to worry about it until April 3rd. That is all I'm going to say about it. And if I have to go to jury, number one, I'm going to go looking pretty much like I look right now, which is like a crazed man from the streets. And I'll probably take my crutches along, even though I'm not using crutches anymore. I'm probably going to do that. And I'm probably going to start talking to myself and just see if by any chance I don't get pushed to the side for jury duty.
Wait, is it regular jury duty or is it, what do you call it? Like I was supposed to have.
I don't remember what you were supposed to have, but.
The other one where grand jury.
No, it's not grand jury. This is jury where you either have to go for a day and maybe see several cases or something,
right, or
one specific case, and that might be dragged out over a couple of days or something.
Right. Well, the good thing about that though is that number one, your number may not even be called.
Maybe it will.
What's your number? Do you remember what your number?
I didn't. I saw it come in the mail. I briefly looked at it. I got the gist of what I need to know, and I put it away. I don't care.
It's so funny.
Fuck
you know
'em.
what's really funny to me? It's
like
it's how similar we are in so many ways, but then how we have these differences where I'd be like going nuts right now, like I did.
Oh my God. And I can't reiterate how nuts she went. And I literally got handed the envelope and I looked at it. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, right? Not because I'm all upset that I got jury duty, but because I'm going to have to tell the story and relive.
You know what's funny is I knew you were going to get it at some point soon because you got your questionnaire right around the same time that I actually got the grand jury duty.
And I did not answer my first one. I let it go. Because what are they going to do? Come cuff me? That's fine. I'll go to jail for not filling out some paperwork for the government. But no, they sent the second one, and I thought, well, I can go online and do this. I'll do it.
Right.
So I knew the fact that I filled it out. I knew I was going to get contacted. Now it's sitting in a pile with other stuff that is probably stuff that needs to be dealt with, but it's going to wait until I have time.
Well, you and Dave, you're both the same exact way. But you probably won't even end up doing it. And I
kind of hope I do. I've never had to. I think it'd be a very interesting thing to do. It would get me out of a day of work, maybe more. And I I think you get some pay or something out of it.
Yeah, they give you some money. It's not a lot, but they give you some money. Myself, personally, would have been excited about grand jury duty.
But your other personalities weren't.
Well, it was just the situation I was in. It was a really bad time for me. I was just starting to find out about my eyes and needing injections in my eyes, and how was I going to schedule around that? And I don't know what to expect, and I don't know what's going on. And it was Christmas time, and I'm trying to do all this other stuff. It was just a really bad time. And I think that's where my anxiety came from. Because to be on one of those things.
She had to get her license done. My God,
I know.
The anxiety of all that stuff at one time. What do you do?
Yeah, but when you're in the middle of all that, it's horrible. So anyways, but good. I'm glad you got jury duty. I can't wait to see how you make out.
I'm just going to sit there and I'm going to start talking to myself.
You should. You should. But let me explain to everybody, you got a hoodie on today, but you've actually got the hood up.
Yep.
And you look really tired.
I'm tired.
Yep. And so if
my
you go
beard has not been straightened, so it's kind of bushy.
Your beard is bushy.
And my hair is long and messy.
Yep.
And that's it. I haven't shaved above my beard here for a few days, like a week. So, I mean, I showered this morning. I'll tell you what's weird. So I got up this morning and I had the same gumption I had on New Year's Day about what I was going to get done. I needed to get up. I wanted to get laundry done. I wanted to take a shower. I had work to do. So boom, boom, boom.
Right.
And I didn't fall down the stairs, which is nice.
I'm so happy.
But I did carry the laundry down the stairs. So.
I worry about you only because I haven't seen you in action yet. Walking and stuff, so I don't know what it looks like. I just know that you are getting around. It's
still a little unstable. The knee still gives out. I can't bend it all that far. Although there's been definite improvements there. Yep. I think we started at 40
think so.
degrees, and now I'm up to 70.
Yes.
But that's with somebody just laying into me, making me literally scream. I can hit 70.
But the fact is you can do it. So you know that as you do it more and more, it'll get a little bit easier. That's part of the healing process. So
yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you notice, and I want to ask this of the listeners, do you notice when it's something for her, like her eyes, there's no good side to it? But for me, the pain and the anguish, and it's always, but the good news is you're getting better.
But you are.
I know, but getting your eyes done isn't that bad. But, sometimes.
I'm being encouraging.
Okay.
I'm being encouraging.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. Now
you got to encourage yourself is what you need to do.
I know. Well, I'm really good about my eyes now because I know I know what to expect. Yeah. Now, each time is a little bit different. It might get the little circles in one time and maybe not the, all that other crazy stuff. But I have to go March 23rd for my 4th set. And at least now I don't worry about it because I know when I went in at the end of January, she said my eyes are stable. I have 20/25 vision in my eyes. So that's really good. They've stayed stable. So I'm not, it's just, to me, it's becoming just another appointment. I have 8 million appointments all the time.
Oh my God.
They make fun of me constantly.
Oh my God.
But
it's hair. It's eyes. It's,
hair.
voodoo practitioners. It's all sorts of shit.
I do need a massage, maybe some Reiki. So we'll see. But yeah, I have a team of doctors. What can I say? I just got my blood work back today. Everything's good. A1C is 5.8. It went up a little bit, but February was my birthday month and I ate a lot of cake. So I can and macarons. So I can expect it to have gone up a little bit. So
she has so many specialists and doctors. They've actually named a wing at the hospital after her.
I know, right? Which is funny because generally, I'm healthy. I don't have major issues. My eyes are my worst issues, but I need. Any
day we're going to have.
Whoops, sorry.
What was that?
I don't know. I closed a window and another window popped up with video.
I need all these different doctors, apparently, endocrinologist because of the diabetes, my main doctor, eyes. I have a regular eye doctor. I have a specialist. I have all this crap. So I'm always going to some doctor or another, gynecologist and, all this stuff. So anyways, but yeah. So everything's going well and everything's good right now. So, but we want to talk about dreams today. I know you had some thoughts about that, but I wanted to tell you the story that I came across and my rare time off this week because I was busy doing a lot. We had that investigation a couple of weeks ago, and I've been listening to the audio. I've been sending you some of the EVPs back and forth. We've been talking about those. Plus, I've been doing my regular job. Plus, I've been taking my mom to appointments. Plus, I've been doing all this stuff. So I haven't had a lot of time for downtime, but I did get a little downtime. And I ran into this story, and I wanted to tell you about it. And I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but there is a man. He's an attorney from Seattle. His name is Andrew Basiago, and he's been claiming since 2004 that between the ages of 7 and 12, he took part in a secret U.S. government program called Project Pegasus, and it involved teleportation and time travel. Okay, so now we all know when we had Jason Offit on, we had a nice discussion about UFOs and alien life and does it exist and the government hiding things. Well, we all know that the government does a lot of things that they don't tell us about. And I thought this was a really interesting story because he says that the program started back in the 1970s and they used kids for this project because they could adapt well to the stress and pressure of time travel, to the strain of going from one time to another time. They handled it better than the adults did.
I'm guessing probably because they didn't have the mindset that it couldn't happen, right?
Exactly. We talk about kids with ghosts too,
right.
Spirits.
Right.
That when you're a child, maybe their imaginary friend isn't really an imaginary friend. Maybe it is a spirit or a ghost because kids haven't been taught yet that these things don't exist or that you're crazy if you believe in these things. So Mr. Basiago says that he traveled back to the 1800s quite a bit, that he traveled 5 or 6 times back to Ford's Theater on the evening that Abraham Lincoln was assassinated in 1865. And the interesting thing about that one is that he said that they sent him back there several times. And this almost reminds me of what was that show with Scott Bakula back in the 80s?
Yeah.
Oh, you know
Quantum
what show
Leap.
I mean. Quantum Leap. I love that show. I watched all of those. And that whole kind of thing, I know you're smirking right now, that whole kind of thing of, sort of you can't disrupt the time continuum because it can change, alter everything. He says that he ran into himself twice at Ford's Theater because they sent him back several times. So he saw himself at Ford's Theater a couple of the times that he went back, as it was like sort of another parallel timeline that they sent him back on. And then the other one that I thought was interesting is he apparently traveled back to Gettysburg in 1863. And he says that there's a photograph, and you can go to Cult of Weird. I'll put the link on there because this is where I found this. He points out a photograph and I would say a young, maybe early teenager, maybe 12, maybe he's, that's circled that shows a young boy that he insists was him, that he was caught in a photograph when he time traveled back to Gettysburg in 1863. And obviously, I don't know what he looked like or what he looks like now. There's no way of knowing, but I just thought it was very interesting. And the other thing that kind of made me laugh, this is where it gets even kind of wackier, is that he actually ran for president in 2016. Obviously, he didn't win, but Mr. Basiago says that he checked all of the records and that he has up until about 2028 to become the president. and that he could still become the president of the United States. See, I really was willing to kind of go with this and see where it was going to lead. And I thought it was very interesting because, again, we don't know what is possible in this world for sure. And we know that the government does hide certain things from us. They do things that they don't tell us about. The government does that all the time. But then when he said the whole thing about becoming president, he has until 2028 because then he doesn't somehow see himself in records after that. I don't know what it is. That's where he kind of lost me a little bit. What do you think about that idea?
Well, I would never say that's impossible because, I think the basis of this podcast is open mind and all that kind of stuff.
Right. Yep.
My question would be, why do we only always go back to the 1800s?
I know.
Why don't we go back further?
Yeah.
So that would be a question of mine. The other question is, if we can travel backward, then we can travel forward.
Mm-hmm.
And if as a nation, as a government, we know that we can travel forward, can't we answer all the questions that'll be coming up? Like, for instance, couldn't we know COVID was going to happen and be prepared for it? Couldn't we know that, certain things? Couldn't we know that the Challenger was going to explode back in the 80s?
Right.
And not let that crew go up?
It's a great point. It's really great point. Well, number one, as far as the 1800s, I wonder if maybe he was just the one that they would do in the 1800s. Maybe they the children they worked with, it was different time periods. As far as the future goes, maybe it isn't as easy to go to the future as it is to go to the past. I mean, we're just obviously talking here, throwing things out there, but maybe it's not as easy. Maybe they haven't figured out how to time travel forward yet. I do think it's interesting. I don't know if you've ever seen them, but occasionally I'll come across because I like reading about this weird stuff. I come across these articles that talk about and have photographs of people for the past 200 years or however long we've been doing photography, the mid-1800s, showing up that look out of place from everyone else. That looks like they might have a cell phone in their hand, or they might have sunglasses on that weren't around in that time period. Those always intrigue me because while it could be anything in their hand, really, what if it's not? Again, like you said, this podcast is all about being open-minded to the possibilities of things. And so I just think that's very interesting that he is so insistent. He's been insistent on this for almost 20 years now, that he was a part of Project Pegasus. So just an interesting article I came across.
I think it's very doable. I think there's a lot of stuff, we talk about every once in a while. We'll talk about UFOs and aliens and all that. I mean, in everyday life, I know I just got done talking about how I shut off some of the stuff going on in the world so that I don't go nuts myself. But, that for me is, if we're shutting all that off because we don't want to believe it, that's one thing.
Right.
I'm still open-minded to it. I'm not saying this guy's lying by any means.
Right.
So
I'm like you. I guess I don't feel one way or the other about it. I find it very intriguing though. And it's thought-provoking because we do know that the government doesn't tell us. They might tell us 10% of what they're actually doing, or they know, or the knowledge that they have. So what could be going on there?
Right.
What really could be going on? We know that they tortured people. We know that they've tortured people for their experiments, down on Montauk, down on Long Island. There were human experiments going on down there on that base down there. So who knows what's possible? We just don't know.
So the reason why I really didn't like Quantum Leap.
I loved it.
was because in the intro, there was this weird vision of him standing with his arms outstretched.
Mm-hmm.
And he was kind of in the shimmery light with dry ice smoke and lights and all that kind of stuff. And then Quantum Leap would come across the screen. But there was always this weird crotch shot. And I never... It bothered me as a child, and I decided this probably isn't for me. And so that's really why
the crotch shot.
The crotch shot pushed me away from really liking that show or even having any interest in it.
Quantum Leap to me was a lot like MacGyver was, so to speak, because they were very ahead of their time, I think. They were things that, especially Quantum Leap, it was something that was kind of sci-fi-ish, but not really. It was sort of reality, it could happen type things. And so as a kid, teenager, I guess I just loved that show. I watched it all the time. I thought it was fascinating. I guess it goes along with just...
I think subliminally you were just attracted to the crotch shot. I mean, I think that's what
I don't remember it. Now I'm going to have to, believe it or not, I have to go watch the crotch shot.
Well, I was just watching the intro, and I'm not sure that I caught the crotch shot because maybe I was just seeing something that wasn't there.
Help me. But yeah, so, I don't know what to think. I just love the idea that some of these things are so thought-provoking. Even if we never find an answer, I love the fact that it's something that we can think about and discuss. Not just us, everybody can think about and discuss and wonder about. I think it's just such a cool thing to have, that there's so many minds out there that are open enough to discuss it. So
I know we were going to kind of talk about dreams, but I'm really not prepared to. But I did remember I told you earlier this week I had a story that I had to tell you when we talked?
Yeah.
It's kind of creepy.
Okay.
So, a couple of weeks ago, sometimes you have people in your life and you're friends with them and they're pretty good friends. You're pretty close, blah, blah, blah. I had to push somebody out. Okay. Mm-hmm. I had to close the door. Mm-hmm. And I had to close the door because I think this person, who, by the way, enjoyed the podcast, has abilities and was not necessarily always happy about those abilities or those experiences, blah, blah, blah. I felt like things were turning too dark and I just had to say enough. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I did. Didn't make much of it. This person claimed to have a grandmother who was pretty heavily into witchcraft, maybe dark magic.
Okay.
And one of the things that crossed my mind when I said, okay, door closed, done, blocked, all that kind of stuff was, what are the repercussions? Uh-oh, is Dave home again?
Yes. Hold on one second. Don't give a play-by-play.
Oh, I'm going to give a play-by-play.
I'm wearing sweatpants this time.
She's getting up.
So.
And does she have sweatpants on? She does have sweatpants on. And I think Erin would be very proud because I think she's kind of got a shawl-like shirt on.
It's not a shawl.
You could hear that without your headphones?
Yes, because you're so freaking loud.
I'm not loud.
Yes, you are.
I'm not loud.
It's not. It's like a little baseball shirt, but I ordered it
Poncho.
I ordered it from Amazon just like as a pajama top.
Yeah.
But a lot of this Amazon stuff.
But as a what? As a what?
As like a pajama top.
Stop.
Type thing.
A what?
What? Pajama top.
Are you saying pajama or pajama?
Pajama top.
It sounds like you're saying.
God,
it sounds like you're saying pajama. And I'm like, what the hell's a pajama?
It's just my
She's
accent.
a bad band pajama.
No, a pajama top. But with Amazon, it's hard to tell because sometimes they have Asian sizes versus regular. So I tend to go up a size or so when I order some stuff, especially just stuff for around the house. Well, they sent this thing to me and it's like 2 sizes bigger than my normal size. It's a regular one, not an Asian size. So it's huge on me, but it's so comfortable that I love it. So I wear it around. So thanks for letting everybody know. But I have sweatpants on today.
That's wonderful.
Okay,
I'm glad.
So let's get back to your story.
All right. So So I block it out, boom, 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 shut it out, which I always do, right? Walls up, gone.
Yep.
Doesn't exist anymore.
Yes.
But as I was mentioning, there was some background of maybe some darker magic, witchcraft, whatever in the family. And so it crossed my mind what kind of repercussions might happen to me.
Mm-hmm.
And the other night I'm sleeping. And I'm sleeping with my left side on the pillow facing the left side of my bed.
Okay.
And I'm sleeping. And I have no idea why, but I had the urge to wake up and reach in my ear.
Okay.
And when I did, now I'm half asleep, half awake.
Right.
I reach in, and in my mind's eye, I feel a cockroach in my ear. So I dig it out and fling it in my room. Okay.
Okay.
Well, how could a cockroach be in my ear that I was laying on? Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Am I just dreaming? Was this some sort of weird dream?
Right.
Well, I decided to turn on the light and look. And here, crawling up my wall, was a stink bug.
Oh, I hate those things. In your ear.
In my ear. So the first thing that comes to mind is black magic, beetle in my ear, to like lay eggs or get in my brain or something. And so the Palo Santo was getting, plenty of use earlier this week.
So do you think, though, let's just play devil's advocate, do you think that maybe, because those things are awful, and I get them in my studio. I haven't had one in a while, but I get them in my, and they're so like they thump when they fall and stuff, or when they land. But do you think that it might have been on the pillow and you just didn't realize it?
I've never had a stink bug in my bedroom before, ever. Ever.
I don't know, Todd. That's really weird. You got to cleanse. Maybe you should talk to Aaron again.
I'm not talking to them. I can tell you that right now. They'll just make fun of me and talk about your poncho and stuff. They'll talk about my man purse that, was my medication bag and all that.
What did you call it? The enema bag?
Yeah, well, that's fun. But I don't carry a purse.
It was fun.
Enema bag's funny. Purse is not funny.
They told me, I was talking to them and they told me, they go, I said something to Todd and he got mad at me. I said, that's okay. Don't worry. He'll get over it.
What did I get mad over?
I don't know. He said you got mad at him.
No. What I get upset with them over is they'll say something and then you respond and there's no response back because they've forgotten that there's even a conversation. Yep. And then when they're finally ready to come back, they want to have that conversation. And it's like, well, but that was then.
It can go hours.
It can go weeks for me. They asked, how you doing, blah, 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 blah. And it's like they never even knew that I had an operation, that I fell and had an accident or anything like that.
I know. It's like I'm fascinated by people.
They live in their own little world.
Yes.
And I don't exist in that world unless they want to make fun of me. So they can just stay away from me.
They love you. You know that.
They can go away. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Walls up. Gone.
But
maybe he's the one that's put the stink bug in my ear.
Maybe it was Aaron. I think that's really interesting, though. Yeah. I think that part of it is probably just, I don't know. I think it just may not have been that, but it was in your mind that it could that could happen because of the background. Here again, ladies and gentlemen, because it's not her. Now, if this had happened to her, she would be freaking the fuck out. Oh, I would be. I know. I'm trying to make sense of this. I know. I'm trying to make sense of it because they don't want you to be freaked out. But do you think you should talk to this person? No. Okay.
Ain't going to happen.
Done?
Yep.
All right. Then I would say I wouldn't. I would just like kind of just let it go for now, maybe. And I don't know. That's really strange.
See if I wake up with an earful of baby ones. Is that what you're saying?
I don't think you're going to have baby stink bugs in your ear. I don't think you're going to have baby
Have you seen some of the videos online where they pull out cockroaches and shit?
No, but you didn't have a cockroach. It was a stink bug.
Yeah, but people pull out like bugs and shit in their ears. Spiders that have crawled in there and shit.
My grandmother years ago when I was a kid, she had a bug in her ear. She had to go to the doctor. They couldn't get it out. They finally got it out, but she had to go to the doctor.
I've never had a bug in my ear ever. That was just creepy as shit.
No. Did you ever eat a bug by mistake?
Well, everybody does when you're walking and stuff and there's bugs and...
Yeah, it's pretty gross. I've gone to places where they actually put like grasshoppers and stuff in, they dry them out and they put them in, they put like
chocolate
flavoring
and stuff,
on them. Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, I know it's a good source of protein, but I don't think I could ever eat that. Well, that's an interesting story. And I don't know. Do you have any ideas has anything else happened to you?
I would say no, but who knows? There was even a thought process at one time if that individual wasn't somewhat behind the whole fall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep.
Well, I mean, I do know that you still have that energy in your home, but it's just.
I don't think there's bad energy here.
No, it's not.
Don't.
To me, it's almost like a protective energy. It's in your front. It's in your front area by the porch, like by the door, the front door, like the inside front door, and then it's in your kitchen by your back door. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like the places where you would enter the home have the energy there, and they're like It's almost protective, I think.
Well, nobody was there when I fell down the goddamn stairs.
Yeah, I know. Maybe they were taking a lunch break.
Fuckers.
Or they were going to brunch. I don't know. I'm just telling you what you got here. One thing I'm going to talk about with dreams is I think this may have been what kind of had us wanting to talk a little bit about dreams is I'm feeling that I had a dream a couple weeks ago, and I told you about this, where there is a rescue. Everybody knows how into animal rescue and advocacy I am. And I follow a lot of rescues. And there's a rescue down in Georgia.
Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't you hang on to that story, and we'll do one on dreams, and you can actually tell that story.
All right, let's do it. Because I think it's interesting.
That's a good one.
It's interesting.
And it's another situation where it was kind of an eye-opening situation for you. Mm-hmm. And also an opening to more distress, stress, worry about your abilities.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, I think that's a great empathicary podcast too.
Yeah, we probably should do an episode on that very soon because I'm feeling, I will just say this, I am feeling that the more I become... What the hell
Sorry,
is that?
I burped.
I can see it coming. That's the worst part because we're on video and I can see like the look. I was like, he either is going to fart or burp.
I don't fart.
Yes, you do. Everybody does.
No.
Everybody does.
Mm-mm.
But anyways, so I think that the more in tune I become with my abilities, as much as I don't like this, I think more of them are developing. And there's some of them that I would prefer not to have developing, and they are. And so, yeah, maybe that's a good empathicary. We should do a new empathicary too.
Sounds fine to me. I think
Me too.
I think we should wrap this one up.
Yep, let's do it.
Wasn't the shortest podcast we've ever done. Although maybe not. I don't know. 47, 48 minutes.
It's about average. Sometimes we go 115.
I don't want to go that long. I got too much. I got too much going on in life.
Yeah, yeah, you're so busy.
I am.
Well, are you going to be running around town later? I did have a dream about Oshkosh the other night.
Oh God, please don't. Don't.
We
dream
went to
about
like
it.
a 50. Do you guys have any 50 style like drive up? Not the ice cream place that we went to, but do you guys have any other place like that? Like a 50. Not a Sonic, but sort of that same idea.
It's called. Well, it doesn't have. I mean, there's A&W which has that.
Right.
But then there's also an actual 50s, 60s kind of place that's kind of a drive up that's called Artie and Ed's. It doesn't have the little menu things. But
Right.
Yeah.
Because I had a dream that we went there.
Well, guess we're going to have to go this summer.
I guess we're going to have to. How funny is that? I didn't even realize it, but we were at like a 50s, 60s sort of place. And like you drive your car in. Like you drive your car there.
Mm-hmm.
How funny is that? Haha, June's not that far away. Yeah.
I know. What is it, like 3 months? April, May,
so.
June. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's going to go fast.
I can't wait till it's here and gone.
Yeah, right.
I'm looking forward to seeing you guys drive off down the road, and I'm just waiting.
Yep,
Bye.
yep.
Bye.
Yep.
Come again.
You were so sad when we
Have
left.
a good day.
You said,
Bye.
"Oh, I'm gonna miss you guys.
Bye.
I had so much fun. We did. We had a blast."
But that's like when you're in radio and you say, "Oh, I love the movie. Tell me about that time."
But we only had. You know what sucked is we only had like a day and a half this time. But now we're gonna have like 4 full days.
Oh,
so that'll
Jesus.
be fun. Yay! I'm so excited.
All right,
Anyways,
we're gonna wrap this fucker up.
let's wrap it up. Damn. All right. So thanks everybody for listening. Let me do my spiel real quick. You can find us, the Sandy and Toddcast, on Facebook. We have our very own page. And we talked about the Empathicary podcast. We also have a page for the Empathicary podcast. We have our own side project called Mind Garden Media, which has its own Facebook page. That's our page where we can share with you some of the podcasts that we produce and edit. And we're always looking for people who are interested in starting their own podcast. We do consulting for you to give you a head start and show you the process. And we can also edit and produce for you as well. So Mind Garden Media, all of the details are on that page. And please make sure that you join our Facebook group, Stay Weirdos, Friends of the Sandy and Toddcast. We have about 220 members. Just a safe space. I'm trying. I got through a lot of it without having to laugh. A safe space for everybody to come share their thoughts and opinions and ideas.
How do you possibly remember all that shit?
Because I'm good. I'm good at what I do. And just make sure that you leave us a review on any of the platforms where you find the Sandy and Toddcast, because it bumps us up so more people can see us and we can get the word out about all this crazy shit that we talk about.
All right. Done?
All done.
All right. Peace out, everybody.
Peace out. Bye.